adultery in your relationship and how it impacts the person that this offense, is against, So let's get into it. I'm not going to hold you any longer without reading this letter. I got to get my glasses. Don't you judge me on my granny glasses. But you know what? I can see, and I tell you, all the passengers that board my plane, the first thing they see when they get on board my plane, they see the glass and then, oh, I love your glasses. And I'm like, thank you, but you cannot have them. Okay, guys. Okay. So our good sis, look at them. Look at them. Okay, don't you dare hate on my glasses. Okay, I don't care if I look like grandma, Mima, Nana, or whoever. As long as I can see and I'm cute. Don't you judge me. Okay, back to business, guys. Okay, so our good sis wrote in, and there is no caption. There's no caption because she just wanted to get to business. So I will provide one later. But for now, let's just get into it. So our good sis wrote, my husband of 7 years cheated on me with a woman who was 10 years younger than I am. We have 2 children together, and we have never had any sexual issues that I knew of. According to his infidelity and messages, I must be wrong. I'm struggling so much with my self-esteem after having seen the messages between them. He constantly tells her how much better her body was than mine, which is so hurtful because I had the exact same body type as she did before I had his kids. His comments compared my stretched out vagina. She didn't say that. She said the P word, not like off of that, because I use the P word too, but you wouldn't know that. Let me start over with that last sentence. It said his comments compared my stretched out vagina to her tight little, saying he can last forever with me, but only for a short time with her. He asked her for a picture of her perfect little tits and said that breastfeeding had ruined mine. I never thought that childbirth had really changed me down there, but I feel so worthless now. He begged me to have children and now talks about me like I'm damaged goods and used up. How can I tell if I'm actually loose down there? It can't be a major difference or else I'd notice, right? I'm terrified of sleeping with him or anyone else in the future. There is so much going on right now in my marriage. I don't know what to focus on, how to fix it, or how to move forward. Please share your thoughts. Guys, that's a lot. That is a lot to go through. That is a lot to try and wrap your mind around. That's very hurtful. It could sting a little bit. There's so much to unpack here. There's a lot to unpack here. I don't even know where to start with this. So let me just kind of jump right in here. Sis, what you're going through, the thoughts that you're having is normal. All of that's normal. You have so many different moving pieces in this letter that I didn't even want to write notes to try to keep my thoughts aligned, to keep them together, because I wanted it to be authentic. My response to you in the effort of keeping with why I originally, how I originally wanted my show to go, which is, girlfriend to girlfriend, or woman to woman having a conversation. So I'm just going to pick the part where I choose to focus on that I think impacts you the most. The part in your letter where you're talking about finding the messages from your husband to his mistress, with him tearing you down and describing your lady parts in comparison to hers. That is such a, I don't even know the words to use. That is so disrespectful for him to do that. It's one thing to be cheating on you. It's one thing to be stepping outside of marriage. You know, it's one thing, a whole nother, he didn't have to tear you down or describe your lady parts to his whore. Okay, he didn't have to do that. You know, you can be screwing that whore all you want, but leave my lady parts out of it. And why does there have to be a comparison? Why did he have to verbalize that? Why does she need to know what my is like? Why would he utter those words? But I'm going to dig a little deeper than that. I'm going to go under the surface with that, if I may. I think it hurts the most. And this is why I didn't want to write, because typically, guys, you know, I do have my index cards. Whether you can see them, whether I choose to show them to you or not, they are always around my index card, because I don't like freestyling. I don't like, you know, just not knowing the direction I'm going to steer the conversation in or lose my thought. But for this one, I said, no, I got to talk to you woman to woman. Listen, I think the part that hurts the most is that there could be a little bit of truth to this. Before you cringe, let me explain, okay? It is only natural after we have children that our bodies would change. It's natural. You can't help that. It's a part of the journey. That is how it is supposed to go. Your body is not guaranteed to snap back into its original format after giving birth to children. It's not. That's unrealistic for anyone to think, to even have that expectation. And I'm speaking to you woman to woman, and as a woman that I have children. I've had children. I mean, my goodness, it's been some decades ago, but I have children, and to be told or to discover that your husband not only is having an affair, but he's telling his whore about how loose your vagina is in comparison to her tight little kitty. That had to be hurtful. That had to be hurtful and embarrassing, that he would talk that way about you as he's committing adultery against the marriage. You said, I never thought childbirth had really changed me down there, and now it's got you feeling worthless. To add insult to injury, you said, he begged me to have children and now talks about me like I am damaged goods and used up. You see what that tells me, sis? Is that not only did you marry, but you chose to have children with a little boy who's in a grown man's body, a little boy who doesn't have the emotional intelligence or the respect that comes along with the covenant of marriage and being a father, and knowing what changes that a woman's body goes through during pregnancy and afterwards. Don't you dare start to feel ashamed and feel like you used goods, because all of us mothers know exactly what you are going through as far as the changes with your body and trying to snap back. And it's not easy to to be able to get the body how your body originally was, or to feel like you did before having children. It's a difficult process. It is a journey. And especially if you just started having children and you're not finished having children, your body is not through changing. There's nothing you can do outside of making sure you have a proper diet, nutrition, you need to make sure that you're not going over your, the recommended daily calorie amount, making sure that, you are active and exercising and doing what you can to try and get back to your normal body weight or whatever. But there is nothing outside of that you can do to restore your poo nanny. Your poo nanny is your poo nanny. You just had his children. What does he expect? Now, if he really wanted to man up and do something about it, there are options for vaginal surgery, vaginal reconstruction. I've heard about it. I've seen it on a number of talk shows. I've seen it, performed by plastic surgeons a few times over the years, where women in situations like yourself were very conscious of the way that their poo nanny was looking after they had children. They were of a particular age and they wanted to keep it right and tight in the bedroom. They acknowledged that it had changed down there and they wanted to tighten things up. But I will say that when I did see these shows, these were women of means. And if you are not a family, if your household doesn't have money like that, what does he expect? Especially if you've had his children and he begged for these children. You are married to a little boy who is not only a cheater, but he is a backstabber and a betrayer on so many levels. You see, cheat on me if you feel you have to, but why does my pussy have to be involved in your pillow talk to your whore? What does it have to do with her? And the part that's just the most insulting, and I'm feeling you on this, is the part where you said, let me read it back. If you're just now tuning in to the show, let me tell you what's going on. I'm going to reread the letter after I'm going to zoom in on this particular section. If you're just now tuning into the show, let me catch you guys up to speed. So we got a husband who has stepped out on his wife. They have been married for 7 years, okay? And this man begged this wife of his to have his children. So he done started cheating with this chick that's 10 years younger. And the wife has discovered the messages that he has been communicating to his whore. That's what she is. She's his whore. And so the messages read, he is comparing his wife's vagina to his mistress, his whore's vagina, telling his mistress how tight her stuff is versus how loose his wife's coochie is, and how her titties are sagging, and he wanted his whore to send him pictures of her tits and how nice and firm and how they sit up all perky. And this wife is devastated, as she should be. Well, let me get back to the part that, this no good cheating, backstabbing thing. His comments, she says that, okay, I'm struggling so much with my self-esteem after having seen the messages between them. He's constantly telling her how much better her body was than mine, which is so hurtful because I had the exact same body type as she did before I had his kids. His kids. She had his kids. Not some other man's kids, okay? But his kids that he begged her to have, that they agreed to have, to start a family with. His kids that came out of her body, and now he is not pleased with the way that her body looks after pushing out his kids. Let me go on. His comments compared my stretched out poo nanny to her tight little poo nanny, saying how he can last forever with me, but only for a short amount of time with her, because hers is so tight, I guess, right? He asked for a picture of her perfect little tits and said that breastfeeding had ruined mine. So you mean to tell me by you breastfeeding, doing the natural thing that mothers do when they have children, breastfeeding his babies that he begged you to have ruined, that's the word that he chose to use in pillow talk to his whore, ruined your breast, and instead of him appreciating the fact that you was able to give him children, the fact that you was able to give him healthy children, the fact that you are woman enough to be a mother, a real mother, and breastfeed his babies, he ain't looking at that. He looking at the aesthetics of your tits versus being appreciative. Oh, you got a no good, low down, backstabbing, diarrhea at the mouth, Can't keep his pecker in his pants. Husband is what you got. And I'm mad for you. I'm mad that after giving birth to children in a marriage, which by all society is the right way to do things, you've done it the right way, and you have been ultimately betrayed by the man that you chose to marry and have children with. This is how he do you. This is what he's done. You're struggling with your self-esteem because you have a man boy. You're struggling with your self-esteem because even though your husband begged you to have children, he doesn't like what you look like after you had his children. And let me tell you something. If you mess around and get old girl pregnant, because 9 times when they cheating, they out here raw dogging. He mess around and get old girl pregnant, he gonna be disappointed about her too. I know that's not what you want to hear, but it is what it is. Or maybe not. You know, everybody's body, every woman's body is different. Every pregnancy is different. You know, I can remember when I had my first child. When I had my first child, my body, when it was crazy. First of all, I didn't even show until, like literally, I did not show until I was 6 months pregnant, and it looked like I just stuck a little ball down there. After I had my baby, seriously, after I had my baby, I walked out of the hospital with my jeans on that normally fitted me quite well. They were my favorite pair of jeans. I put those jeans on effortlessly, and they were a little loose. You know, my body snapped back like that. Like instantly it snapped back. However, when I had my second and my youngest child, I only have 2, it took me about a good month to get back to my size. You know, I was bloated, you know, my breasts were expanded, my breasts were huge. And, you know, I had a vaginal birth for my first child, and my second child, I had a cesarean. So each of my pregnancies was different. My body responded differently to each one of those pregnancies. I said that to let you know that all of us mothers, women who have been pregnant and we've had children, we know exactly what you're going through. But for the man that you've committed your life to, the man that you share children with and that you share your bed with and you live with, has violated you in the worst way by talking about you intimately and insulting your body with his whore. You deserve better than that. I don't know what to tell you other than I would start as far as restoration, not with the marriage, not this time. I would challenge you to be proactive with your own healing, because you said that I'm struggling so much with my self-esteem after having seen the messages. Well, let's do something about that, okay? Why not seek therapy? Why not seek a life coach? Why not seek out some type of counselor that specializes in mental health and wellness or issues that women deal with after having birth? And it wouldn't hurt if they also, you know, you could offer assistance in dealing with infidelity in your relationship. I think restoration for you should look like you feeling good about yourself and your body after having these children and after finding out that your husband has been unfaithful in the marriage and disgraced the vows as well as you by sharing intimate details of your lady parts with his whore. That's what I would like to see you do. That's how you begin rebuilding your life and feeling good about yourself, because nothing else in any area of your life is going to work, because you're going to be struggling to feel good about yourself because of what he's done. He's done a few different things. He's cheated. He's cheated with somebody younger, 10 years younger. He's not sorry about it. He's described your lady parts to this woman, and he's talked down about the way, you know, your body looks after having his children. and you said at the end that you're terrified of sleeping with him or anyone else in the future because of what he's done. That's natural. You should feel like that after what he's done. That's only natural. But I tell you, this is the reason that I'm telling you that you should go ahead and seek therapy for yourself. You know, a life coach, some type of therapy, someone who can coach you and be a mentor to you back in your on your healing journey, so that if you do decide that this is not what you want, you don't want to continue the marriage, that you would at least feel good about yourself and the next relationship that you enter into, whether that be a long-term committed relationship, a few one-night stands, or another marriage. You will go into that particular relationship feeling wonderful and knowing